श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। मत्प्रिया राधिका प्रेया मधवो राधिका धव तस्मादपि गरीयान्यो कृपालुर्मे जगद्गुरु वन्दे बरसाना नंदा रंगीली महल वासिनी राधिकां परमां शुद्धां ह्लादिनीं शक्तिरूपिणी वन्दे नवघनश्यामं पीतकौशेयवाससं सानन्दं सुन्दरं शुद्धं श्रीकृष्णं प्रकृतेः परम्। नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तग्वं ह देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। Spiritually inquisitive souls, let's sing a composition of Jagadguru Uttam Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj from Brahmanasrama Dharma Kirtan book number 2 in your bhajan book, page number is 133. तुम दीनन को रखवार हम दीनन को सरदार पुनि काहे करत अबार सुन लो मम नंद कुमार। Page 133. तुम दीनन को रखवार हम दीनन को सरदार पुनि काहे करत अबार सुन लो मम नंद कुमार। रखवार हम दीनन को सरदार उन्हीं का है करत आवाज। सुन लो हम नंद कुमार उनकी मन को लघु अंश तिहार सुन लो हम नंद कुमार अंश तिहार सुन लो हम नंद कुमार हाँ तो लघु अंश तिहार सुन लो हम नंद कुमार हाँ तो लघु अंश तिहार सुन लो हम नंद कुमार तुम जीवन को रखवार हम जीवन को सरदार उन्हीं चाहे करत आवार सुन लो हम नंद कुमार हम जीवन को रखवार गाते हों तो ही विसार सुन लो हम नंद कुमार गाते हों तो ही विसार सुन लो हम नंद कुमार गाते हों तो ही निहार सुन लो हम नंद कुमार गाते हों तो ही विसार सुन लो हम नंद कुमार गिनन को रखवार हम गिनन को सरदार उन्हीं का है तरफ आधार सुन लो हम नंद कुमार गिनन को सुन लो कृपालु सरकार सुन लो कृपालु सरकार मानक नहीं मैं हठधार सुन लो कृपालु सरकार मानक नहीं मैं हठधार सुन लो कृपालु सरकार सुन लो कृपालु सुन लो कृपालु सरकार सुन लो कृपालु सरकार सुन लो कृपालु सरकार सुन लो कृपालु सरकार सुन लो कृपालु मानक नहीं मन हठधार सुन लो कृपालु सरकार मानक नहीं मन हठधार सुन लो कृपालु सरकार तुम्हें दीन को रखवार हम दीन को सरदार उन्हीं का है तरफ आधार सुन लो अपने कुमार दीन को रखवार Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki Jai. Devotional listeners, as always, I humbly request your full attention as we conclude the topic of the glory of the Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavatam, there are 5 chapters in the 10th canto. And these 5 chapters are known as Panchapran, the 5 vital breaths of the Bhagavad. They are the life and soul of the Bhagavad. Just as there are 5 airs within us, Pran, Apan, Udan, Saman and Vyan. In the same way, there are 5 Pran, 5 vital breaths of the Bhagavad, and they are in the 10th canto, in the 10th book, chapters 29 through chapters 29 till 33. 5 chapters. In these 5, the Maharas has been described. The gopis love Shri Krishna in Madhurya Bhav. They love him as the beloved. There are 4 levels of gopis that participated in the Maharas, that were invited to the Maharas through the sound of the flute that they could hear. They were Nitya Siddha gopis. They were eternally liberated. They have come from Golok with Sri Radha and Krishna, and they have always been tasting the bliss of Maharas. This will not be the first time. Second is Sadhan Siddha gopis. These were once under the control of Maya, just like we are, and then they attained God realization. They loved Shri Krishna in Madhurya Bhav, and they attained the bliss of the Maharas. So these are Sadhan Siddha. Number 3, Shruti Rupa. The verses of the Vedas have taken the female form and they have come as the gopis. These are Shruti Rupa. Shruti meaning Ved. And fourthly, Prakirna. So there are 4 kinds of gopis, 4 classes of gopis that were in the Maharas. Bhagwan Shri Krishna had tested the gopis by stealing their clothes, which is known as the Chirharan Leela. It is a pastime. The gopis were bathing in the Yamuna and Shri Krishna stole their clothes. He was testing their level of self-surrender to him. And when they passed the test, then Shri Krishna said, I shall give you the nectar of the Maharas. You have accepted me fully. You have surrendered yourselves wholeheartedly to me. So I shall give you the ultimate nectar, the nectar of Maharas. So then, it is time to make good on the promise. The Bhagavad says, Bhagavan apitaratri sharadot phulla mallika viksharantum manaschakre yogamaya upashritah. That those nights, they stood in front of Bhagwan, reminding him, you had promised to give the gopis the nectar of the Maharas. And these nights are equal to 1 day of Brahma. 1 kalp, not just 1 or 2 nights. Chirharan Leela, that had occurred in the daytime, but Shri Krishna had promised the gopis that in those nights, for nights as equal in duration to 1 kalp, 1 day of Brahma, he would give them the Maharas. And so now he is being reminded. And Bhagavan Api, even Bhagavan, even though he is the Supreme Lord and he does not have any desire, he does not have a mind, does not have a mind. But Manaschakre, he created a mind, he created a desire to sport with the gopis, to do the Maharas with the gopis. And he took the help of Yogamaya. Yogamaya is Jagadguru Tam Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj says in Bhakti Shatak, Joi Radha, Soi Krishna hai, Inme bhed na maan, Ik hai hladini shakti aru, Shaktiman ik jaan. There's no difference between Radha and Krishna. Ik hai hladini shakti. One is the hladini shakti, bliss imparting power. And the other is Shaktiman, the one who has the power. And in this case, there is no difference between Shakti and Shaktiman. Both are one. Yeyam Radha yascha Krishno rasabdhir dehe naikaha kridanartham dvidha bhut. Radhikopanishad says that Radha and Krishna are one. Radha Krishna yor ekasanam, eka buddhi, ekam manah, ekam jnanam. Everything is the same. One intellect, one mind, eka atma, one soul, eka akriti, ataeva, dvayor na bhedah, kalamaya gunati tattvat. Radhikopanishad again says, there is no difference between Radha and Krishna. One Brahma became two, for the purpose of performing loving pastimes, and in order to show the world what true love is all about. Shri Krishna took the help of Yogamaya, in other words, Shri Radharani, and he asked, how do I call the gopis? How do I invite them? Should I go house to house and invite them? Radharani said, no, just play the flute. Sound the flute, and the deserving gopis will hear the sound. They will come themselves. So on that most significant full moon night, Sharad Purnima, Shri Krishna stood in all his resplendent glory in Vrindavan, and he played the flute. He played the flute, and the deserving gopis heard the sound. That gopi may have been 2 miles away, but she heard it. And someone who was 20 feet away could not hear it, because that is the nature of divine things. Divinity is such. The one who is eligible to hear it, he will hear it. One who is eligible, one who is surrendered to God, will recognize God as God. The one who is not will say he's a common man, or he is a good man, or he is a terrible person, he is a demon. Jaki rahi bhavana jaisi. So the deserving ones heard the sound of the flute. And when the gopi heard the sound, she could not remain where she was. She had to immediately, no matter what she was doing, she had to drop whatever she was doing, and she was compelled to run towards the sound of the flute. No matter what the gopi was doing, she ran immediately. It was as if her most prized possession was being snatched away. It's like someone who has accumulated his lifetime savings, and then he sees someone taking them away, making off with the lifetime savings. He won't not just stay there doing nothing. He will run after that person. Hey, where are you going? Those are my life savings. It was as if the heart of the gopi was being taken out. So she ran in that direction where the sound was coming from. Nishamya Geetam Tadananga Vardhanam Brajastriyah Krishna Grihita Manasah Ajagmuranyonyamalakshitovdyamah. The Bhagvatam says that all the deserving gopis heard the sound, and they all rushed towards the sound of the flute, and none of them asked one another, where are you going in the middle of the night? Are you going to the same place I am going to? Did you hear the sound of the flute? No. No one looked for any company. The gopis were in a state of samadhi. There are many kinds of samadhis. This is prem samadhi of the highest kind. The gopis are running. They are in samadhi. They are not seeing anyone else And every gopi ends up with Shyam Sundar, where Shyam Sundar is standing. In Vrindavan, the name Vrindavan means Vrinda is Tulsi, one is jungle. Jungle where Tulsi grows abundantly, that is Vrindavan. Shri Krishna was standing there playing the flute and all the gopis are surrounding him. They see him playing the flute. They know he's the one who has called them there. And now Shri Krishna tests them all over again. Some people are naive and they say that, we should do away with tests. Children should not be tested. They just get very nervous unnecessarily. But that's not a good system. It's because of the fear of being tested through tests and exams and pop quizzes that children study. If you didn't have those tests, who would study? So, some people ignorantly say that there should not be any tests, but God always tests the devotee. And Guru always tests the disciple. When I had the greatest fortune of having Maharajji's darshan, in those first few days, I very ignorantly said to Maharajji, please don't test me. Please don't test me. And Maharajji tapped me on the head and said, you didn't learn anything of my philosophy. You come to the highest university and you don't want to be tested? How can that be? So we should not be afraid of being tested. It's only then that we can pass those tests and get on to the next level. So Shri Krishna is testing the gopis once again. And he tells them this. Swagatam vo mahabhaga priyam kinkaravani va brajasya namayam kachit brutagamana karanam. Tumhara swagat hai gopiyo. Oh highly blessed gopis, I welcome you, I welcome you. Swagatam vo mahabhaga priyam kinkaravani va. But tell me, what are you doing here? Why have you come here? In other words, it's the middle of the night and you have left your homes to come over here to the jungle. This is not good. It's dangerous for you over here. There are many wild animals. Why have you come here? Then he says, Brajasya namayam kachit brutagamana karanam. Tell me the reason why you're here. Is everything alright in Braj? Has there been some demon tormenting you? And have you come here for protection from me? And the gopis are incredulous. They cannot believe what they are hearing. You brought us here in the middle of the night. We left home and family and everything and we came here because you invited us. And now you're asking us what we are doing here? And the all-knowing Krishna kept on testing them. He said, now that you are here, I think I understand why you're here. Vrindavan has never looked so beautiful as it is looking tonight. This is a magical night. It is autumn time, it's the fall season, but springtime flowers are in bloom. And the Yamuna, the flow of the Yamuna is so calm and so sweet. There's a fragrant breeze that is blowing, carrying with it the fragrance of jasmine flowers and roses, and flowers of every season are in bloom tonight. So you have come here to appreciate and enjoy this unique beauty of Vrindavan tonight, the likes of which has never been seen before. Drishtam vanam kusumitam. You have seen the beauty. Rakesha kararanjitam yamuna niralilai jattaru pallava shobhitam. So you've come here to admire this unique beauty, but now you've seen it. Have you seen it? And the gopis are quiet. Their eyes are cast downwards and they're digging the earth with their toenails. And tears are flowing from their eyes. And Shri Krishna keeps on testing them. So you've seen this beautiful scene, you've witnessed it, now go. Now go home and don't delay your departure. Go now. Go. Tadyata machiram goshtam machiram. Do not delay matters anymore. Tadyatamachirangoshtam. You know, your husbands are waiting for you. You've left your husbands, you've left your in-laws. Your children must be crying for you, and then you've got your household duties to attend to. The calves, they want you to untie them so that they may drink the milk of their mothers, the cows. So all those duties await you. What are you doing here? Bhartu bandhu. He says your family members, they must be waiting for you, and you have a duty towards them. And Shri Krishna said so much more. He went to the extent of saying, it is a woman's superior duty to serve her husband, her mother-in-law, father-in-law, her children, her cows and calves. It's a dairy community. That's your paradharma. You see, there are two kinds of dharma. One is paradharma, spiritual dharma. One is aparadharma, material dharma. Dharma means that which is worth accepting. Now, we are two, body and soul. So there are two dharma. There are some things that we need to give to our body. So that is aparadharma, that is the lower dharma. Because the body is subservient to the soul, isn't it? So the aparadharma is that you need to give food and shelter to the body. The body needs oxygen, the body needs clothing, body needs certain things, and you need to give those things to the body. Then there is paradharma, the superior dharma, the soul. What you need to do for the soul. And that is the superior duty of every individual, without exception. And paradharma is that we must love Shri Krishna. Male, female, young, old, educated, illiterate, it doesn't matter, rich, poor, doesn't matter who you are. Everyone's superior duty, supreme duty is to love Shri Krishna. That is paradharma. So there's Varnasrama Dharma. That has to do with the body. Varnasrama Dharma means Varna plus Ashram. Varna is, do you belong to Brahman family? Are you a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra? Which family were you born into? Which caste were you born into? That is Varna. And then Ashram, which stage of life are you at? Till the age of 25, one is in Brahmacharya, one is a celibate student. And from that time onwards, 25 to 50, one is in Grihasthashram, then he gets married and has children. From 25 to 50. And then 25 years later, then remains in that 25 for 25 years, and then 50 to 75 is Vanaprastha, that is retirement, forest dweller. And then the last stage is that of sannyas. 75 to 100 years of age. But who is a Brahman, who is a Kshatriya, who is a Vaishya or Shudra? Who is a Brahmachari, who is a Grihastha, Vanaprasthi or Sannyasi? These are qualifications of the body. These are titles of the body, not of the soul. So there is Varnashram Dharma. If you're a Brahman, one of your duties is to study the scriptures and teach the knowledge of the scriptures to others. You must give charity and receive charity. Not just receive charity. You must give charity and receive charity. So those are some of the duties of a Brahman. Then are you a Brahmachari Brahman, a Grihastha Brahman, Vanaprasthi Brahman, Sannyasi Brahman? There are many very, very elaborate duties that have been outlined, that have been, I should say, described in the scriptures. But all that has to do with the body, because the soul is not Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. So there is a superior duty, and that is Bhagavata Dharma. That is a spiritual dharma. And that is the same for everyone. There's no confusion here. There is nothing to misunderstand. That is the same for everyone, and that is that we must love Shri Krishna. That is the duty of the soul. Dharma of the Atma. That is the duty of the soul. So Shri Krishna now is testing the gopis, and he is telling them, well, to serve your husband and in-laws and children and to take care of your property, that is your paradharma, that is your superior dharma. But you remember that I was telling you that the most ordinary of these gopis are Shruti Rupa. They are the verses of the Vedas that have taken the form as females. And it is by reading those Vedas, it is through the knowledge of the Vedas that someone becomes jnani, someone attains knowledge. So now Shri Krishna is telling them this, he's trying to test the gopis, and the gopis, when he stops talking, the gopis are very wise. They're thinking, let him talk. Bolo, bolo, aur bolo. And he just keeps on talking. And the wise one lets the other one talk. Then he talks. So the gopis are thinking, Maharaj, go on talking. Go ahead, say what you have to say. Then the gopis started talking. And they said, it does not befit you. You are Bhagwan. You are God. It does not befit you to talk like this. They're scolding him. They're scolding him. They're calling him God, and they're saying it's not good for God to speak like this. And they said, you are telling us that our ultimate duty is to serve our family members? But Maharaj, you have said yourself in the Vedas that you are everything. You are mother, father, brother, sister. You are the one and only for every individual soul. You yourself have said this. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. You have said this yourself in so many different places. So how is it that you're telling us this? That our ultimate duty is to serve our family members. That is not the ultimate duty. And even if you say that is our ultimate duty, then we are performing our ultimate duty. We have come to you. You are our only, one and only mother, father, brother, sister, companion, friend, beloved, everything. So we have come to you. We are fulfilling our ultimate duty. Shri Krishna went to the extent of saying, and a lot of these gopis were married gopis. There were some who were unmarried, but many of them were married. And the married gopis, their situation was even higher than those who were unmarried, because these married gopis, they had many challenges that they needed to, that they were facing in meeting with Shyamsundar, because there were many restrictions. So because there was an obstacle in the married gopi meeting with Shyamsundar, her love grew more than the love of an unmarried gopi. So Shri Krishna went to the extent of saying, Dushilo durbhago vriddho jado rogya dhano piva patistri bhirna hatavyo loke subhirapataki. Bhagavad. All this is from the Bhagavad. O gopis, no matter how the husband is, dushilo, durbhago, vriddho, jado, rogya dhano piva, whether he is of a very bad nature, he's bad-natured, he's very unfortunate, he's old, he's sickly, no matter how he is poor, a woman should not ever renounce her husband. And he said very quietly, granted he's not a sinner. Lokep subhirapataki. If he is apataki, if he is a saint, in other words, he's free of sin, then a woman should never leave her husband. Never leave the husband who is sinless. So the gopis are saying, Maharaj, what you're saying is that if he is a sinner, then we have the right to leave him. Shri Krishna was caught. Because these gopis are highly knowledgeable. They're highly knowledgeable. And the Supreme Lord could not fool them. So the gopis said, our husbands stop us from coming to you. So anyone who stops another from going towards God is a sinner of the highest proportion. Isn't that so, Maharaj? Shri Krishna said, yes. Then if our husbands are stopping us from coming to you, then they are sinners. Yes, then we are right in renouncing them. We have come away from them, then we are not wrong. We are absolutely correct in coming to you. Shri Krishna also said, Aswargamaya shasyancha phalgu krichram bhayavaham jugupsitam cha sarvatra aupapatyam kulastriya. A kuleen istri, a virtuous woman. She leaves her husband and goes to another man who's not her husband. Well, for her, the doors of Swargalok are going to be closed forever. She will not enter Swarga, celestial abode. So then the gopis said, we don't want Swarga in the first place. Who would be foolish enough to desire Swarga? We do not want Swarga. And then again, you are not just another man, another male. You are the supreme. You are the supreme Lord. You are Param Purush, not just an ordinary man. You are the supreme Lord. So how is it that we are wrong in coming to you? Well, Sri Krishna was defeated. And he smiled, and his eyes were filled with mercy for the gopis. And the Bhagavad says, then after testing the gopis, and after the gopis proved that after they passed all his tests, they did not go away, they did not go home thinking, oh well, he's right, we should go home really. Mind you, some gopis did go home. But the ones who did not become dissuaded, they stayed. They are the ones who participated in the Maharas. Prahasya sadayam gopi ratma ramo pyariramat. The Bhagavad says, then Sri Krishna looked at them with his merciful eyes, and then he began the Maharas. When the Maharas, the divine Maharas, is depicted in the world by dancers, what they typically do is there is a circle. You've seen that many times. And indeed, there was a circle. And there were as many Krishnas as there were gopis. Shri Krishna assumed as many forms as there were gopis. So with every gopi there was a Krishna. And in the center, Radha and Krishna were standing. This is the formation of the Maharaj. It's a big circle. And in the midst of the circle, there's Radha and Krishna, like cloud and lightning. Shri Krishna, like the dark cloud, Ghanesham, and Radharani, shining like lightning. So cloud and lightning, Radha, Shri Krishna and Shri Radha in the middle of the circle, surrounded by the gopis, and with every gopi there is one Krishna. And the Maharas started. In the Maharas, there is song, there is dance, and there is instrumental music. Now, the music, the dance, everything is going on perfectly. And you may question, how is it possible that the gopis are with Sri Krishna? He's giving them the ultimate sweetness, the ultimate happiness, beyond which there is no happiness. And yet they're able to dance properly, they're able to sing properly. And in the Ramayana it is said, Mama guna gavat kulak sarira, gad gad gira nayana bahanira. Even for an aspiring devotee, Bhagwan Sri Ram says, when you utter my name, when you sing my glory, then there should be tears of love flowing from your eyes, there should be goosebumps, and you should not be able to sing properly. There should be a lump in the throat. Why is there no lump in the throat of these gopis? They're just singing perfectly. They're not shedding tears. They just seem normal. How is that? It is because Shri Krishna has given them the power called Yogamaya. Yogamaya. It seems with someone who has Yoga Maya, that would be God and godly saints, to whom God gives the Yoga Maya Shakti, they seem as if they are performing works of Maya, ordinary works. They're singing, they're dancing, they're walking, they're talking. They're doing things that everyone does. But internally there's a yog meaning union. Union of the mind with God. That is uninterrupted. Inwardly they are divine, their thoughts are always on God, and outwardly they seem to be performing works of Maya just like everyone else. Just like ordinary people. So Yoga Maya Shakti, equipped with Yoga Maya, the gopis are able to remain normal. They're not falling unconscious. They're able to sing properly. They're not going out of tune. The instruments are being played perfectly. The dancing, they're not missing a step. Everything's going on perfectly. And then Sri Krishna complimented the gopis. You are the most beautiful. You are the best dancers. You are the best singers. And the gopis became proud. The Bhagavatam tells us this. Now, in reality, how can the gopis become proud? They are divine. They have attained divinity. Either they were Nitya Siddha gopis, they've always been perfect, or they're Sadhan Siddha. One day they became God realized. It doesn't matter, but they are divine. How is it that they suffer from pride? This is what is called Leela. The divine pastimes of God and His saints. To teach us lessons, saints pretend, or they don't pretend, but they seem to be suffering from pride, anger, greed, lust, envy, and the like. So the gopis are not really, they have not really succumbed to pride, but this is a Leela of Bhagwan, and the gopis are helping in that Leela. So the gopis became proud, and Shri Krishna left them immediately. Because where there is pride, they cannot be God. Ishwarasyaphyaभिमान dveshitvad dainya priyatvad ch Narad Bhakti Darshan. Narad ji says that God hates pride. He has an aversion towards pride, but He has great love for humility. So where He sees pride, He leaves. He leaves from that place. So Shri Krishna left, but He took Radharani with Him. Because she was not proud, and Radharani is another form of His. Or Shri Maharaji says that Advitiya ik tattva hai, Radha tattva pradhan, Yako dujo roop hai, Swayam Krishna Bhagavan. The first doha of Bhakti Shatak. Many of you know that. Joi Radha Soi Krishna hai. No, Advitiya ek tattva hai. There is an entity who is unique. Advitiya, there's no entity like that. And that is Radha. That entity's name is Radha. And another form of Radha is Krishna. Yako dujo roop hai, Swayam Krishna Bhagavan. Mamaiva paurusham rupam gopika jana mohanam. In Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Radharani says, when I assume a male form, people call me Krishna, the one who delights the hearts of the gopis. Mamaiva paurusham rupam gopika jana mohanam. So Shri Krishna and Radha disappear from the midst of the ras. What happens next? Let's just do 5 minutes of kirtan and then find out. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama बोलिए श्री राधा कृष्ण भगवान की जय। So Sri Radha Krishna disappeared from the midst of the gopis. Actually, Sri Krishna cannot disappear, he cannot go anywhere because he is everywhere. So when you are everywhere, you can't disappear. Prabhu Vyapak Sarvatra Samana, the Ramayana says. The Vedas say, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, Isha Vasyamidagum Sarvam. Umaje Ram Charan Ritrat, Vigat Kam Mad Krodh, Nij Prabhu Maya Dekhahi Jagat, Kehi San Karahi Virod. God is everywhere. The gopis could not see him. He became invisible to them. So then they cried, they wailed, they enacted all the pastimes of Sri Krishna. Their grief knew no bounds. They searched for him all over Vrindavan. But it's very important to know that they searched only in places, only as long as there was light. The full moon was in the sky, and they did not go into the dense forest because they thought, we are looking for him and he keeps hiding from us. So if we go into the darkness, then he's going to go further into that darkness that is not safe for him. So they only searched as far as there was light, moonlight. How selfless these gopis are. They could not find him, and so they were grieving for him. And Radharani is extremely innocent-hearted, and her mercy knows no bounds. She will even renounce her greatest happiness, and that is Shri Krishna, and go to the one who is crying for her, one who is shedding tears for her. So Radharani thought, these gopis are so devastated because beloved Krishna, Shyamsundar, has come away from them. So I must go to them and offer them some consolation. So Radharani also pretended. She pretended that she was proud also. She said, "Oh Priyatam, I don't know where you're taking me, but I am tired walking. I'm tired of walking. My feet are tired. If you wish me to go with you, then you must carry me." And Shri Krishna thought, oh, Pyariju has also become proud. So he said, "Pyariju, please, I will bend down and you will climb on my shoulders and I shall take you wherever I'm going." And as soon as Radharani lifted her charan, he disappeared. He disappeared, and Radharani now started crying. She called out to him, "Ha nath ramana preshthak kwasi kwasi mahabhuj dasyaste kripanaya me sakhe darshaya sannidhim." O my Lord, Ha nath ramana preshthak, O delighter of my soul, where are you, O mighty armed one? Pray reveal your presence to me, for I am your wretched servant. Radharani is establishing all relationships with Sri Krishna, thereby telling us, teaching us that we should do the same. He is the master, he is the friend. She calls him Sakhe. Sakhe darshaya sannidhyam. O friend of mine, please reveal your presence to me, for I am your wretched servant. Dasya bhav is there, Sakhya bhav is there, and of course Madhurya bhav is always there. They are in Madhurya bhav. And then the gopis and Radharani met up with one another. And the gopis said, "O Swaminiju, Kishoriju, we cannot find Shyamsundar. How can we find him?" And Radharani says, "There is no means of finding him. You cannot find him. No one can find him using their methods, using some method." Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu says that there is no method through which you can find Shyamsundar. Sadhanau ghairana sangaira labhya suchiradapi. There is no sadhana. There's nothing, no spiritual discipline you can follow so that to find Shyamsundar. The only thing to do, said Radharani to the gopis, is that we should sit down and cry out to him, singing his glory. And he himself will come. He will come himself when he sees our tears. We just have to call out to him. So they all sat down and they all chanted. They did kirtan. They called out to their beloved. And Shyamsundar appeared. But he appeared in the form of Mahavishnu, the Chaturbhuji Mahavishnu. And all the gopis, they covered their faces with their ghungat, with their veils. And they said, "Sir, who are you? It does not befit you, a strange man, a stranger, to be in the midst of all of us. We're all females, and we are in a very devastated state. It does not befit you to be here." Shyamsundar said, "I am your beloved. I am the one you're crying for." "Sir, mind what you're saying. You're not our beloved. We don't recognize you. Our beloved has 2 arms. You have 4 arms." Shri Krishna said, "I am the one you're crying for." The gopis would not believe him. So then immediately Radharani came in front of him, and when Radharani appears before him, he loses all his majesty. So 2 arms disappeared immediately. And gone was Mahavishnu, and then there was Shyamsundar. And all the gopis recognized him and they all rushed towards him because now they recognized him as their beloved. He is Mahavishnu, but they don't want his majestic aspect. They don't want him to be God. They want him to be their beloved, their best friend, their child, their Lord and Master. That's what they want. They want him to be their own. So then they all asked him a question. They said, Maharaj, there are people in the world, there are three kinds of people in the world. There are those who will love you because you love them. They will reciprocate your love. And that is everyone in the world. Everyone who's controlled by Maya, not only humans, but even animals, other creatures too. You give them love and they will give you love. Then there are those who will love you even though you don't love them. This would be God and godly saints. Par upkar vachan man kaya sant sahaj subhav khagaraya bhurj taru sam sant kripala parhit sahanit vipati visala. Saints, they have no agenda, no personal agenda. They come to the world to uplift everyone. So even if you don't love them, they will grace you. And then there are those, thirdly, there are those who will not love you even though you love them. And then there are subcategories in this category. Atmaram, Aptakam, Akritagya, Guru Drohi. There is the God realized, the one who is realized soul. He's a realized soul. And he is aware of everything that's going on in the world. But he does not love anyone. He has no attachments anywhere. He is only absorbed in the thoughts of God. That is Atmaram. He is, in fact, he's not aware of anything. He's like Shukdev Paramahansa then. Second is Aptakam. That is like Vedavyasji. He's able to see this is a male, this is a female, this is a house, this is a village, this is a city, this is an ocean, this is a lake, like that, this is a mountain. But he's not attached anywhere. So these two are God realized. Thirdly, Akritagya. There's a person, those are individuals, no matter how much you do for them, they will say, what did you do for me? When a child says to his mother and father, what did you do for me? Everybody does this for their children. So you did it for me, well, why should I be grateful to you? So he's akritagya, he's ungrateful. Fourth is the worst one, Guru Drohi. He will even go against his Guru. The one who has done everything for him, he will go against the same Guru. So Maharaj, which category do you belong to? Which category do you belong to? First one, second one, or third one? Now Shri Krishna again is in a predicament. Because no matter what he says, he's in trouble. So he said, oh gopis, I don't belong to any of these categories. I love, but I don't show my love. You may not be able to see my love. You thought that I had gone away from you, but I cried for you as much as you cried for me. And I did not give you darshan. I disappeared from your midst so that your love for me may grow even more. O gopis, suppose there is a pauper. He is so poor that he cannot afford clothes for himself. He cannot afford shoes or slippers. He goes barefoot. Everywhere he goes barefoot. He has no money. He's a beggar. He begs for food. And one day he becomes a multi-millionaire because he wins the lottery. Somebody has given him a lottery ticket. Here, let's see if it's your luck, you'll win it. He wins it. He becomes a multi-millionaire. Now his feet don't touch the ground. He's always going everywhere in his Rolls Royces. He has a fleet of cars. He has mansions. He is so rich now. But then one day he loses all his wealth due to bad investments, people stealing from him, due to foolishness, making very bad choices, purchases that were foolish. So he loses everything. Now this man is going to think about the money that he never had, then he got, and then he lost. If he had not received those millions and millions, and he had remained a poor man, then there was nothing to miss. And he would have been thinking, well, my father didn't have shoes on his feet, my grandfather didn't, I don't, so it's okay, this is my destiny. You cannot miss what you didn't have. But now he was poor and then he became a multi-millionaire, then he lost his millions. Now he thinks about that wealth 24 hours a day. Oh, the money I had, then I lost it all. Oh, the mansions I had, the fleet of cars I had, so many rich and famous people I was hobnobbing with. Now it's all gone. It's all gone. So, oh gopis, you were deprived of my nectar since beginningless time. Then you received it. Then you lost it. I took it away from you. So tell me, did you not think of me every single moment? Did your love not increase for me? And the gopis said, yes. You are causelessly merciful. We cannot blame you. And then the Maharaj started again. It resumed. Then one night of Brahma passed. Because this nectar is so sweet that the gopis would not be satisfied with just 12 hours, this one night, that's all. So that one night was actually the night of Brahma, one kalp. The entire world thought that for the entire world, it was as if one night had passed. But in fact, one kalp had passed. Billions of years had passed. For one kalp, the Maharaj was taking place. After which the gopis were told by Sri Krishna, now go home and do my kirtan, do my rup dhyan, because if you are always with me, then you will find fault with me. If you're always with me, you will see faults in me. So go home and do my kirtan, listen to my glories, chant my glories, and mainly meditate upon me. Do rup dhyan on me. So then the gopis left, and that was, in short, this is what happened in the Maharaj. Shukdev Paramhans did not give many intimate details of the Maharaj to King Parikshit, because the king, his intellect was rajasic. When Shukdev told King Parikshit, O King Rajan, the gopis went to Sri Krishna with feelings of lust. Well, King Parikshit lost his mind. He said, Gurudev, how can this be? These gopis were filled with lust for Sri Krishna and they went to him. And then how is it that they attained the divine abode? And Shukdev Paramhans said, he is a king after all. I have already explained to him, this matter was already explained to Shukdev when Bhagwan was talking about Shishupal. Now again the king is asking questions. So then Shukdev explained to him, it does not matter how you attach your mind to Sri Krishna. Kamam, krodham, bhayam, sneham, aikyam, sauhardam evacha. It doesn't matter whether you attach your mind to Sri Krishna with feelings of anger or greed or fear, I should say, or lust. It doesn't matter. If your mind is attached to Sri Krishna, your mind will become divine. So the gopis had those feelings not for an ordinary man, because the object of their desire was the Supreme Lord Krishna himself. They went beyond Maya and they attained the divine abode of Sri Krishna, Golok. And these gopis are the greatest devotees of Sri Krishna of all time. So knowing that the king would not understand the deep secrets, the mysteries of the Maharaj, Shukdev Paramhans gave him very few details. Just as Sri Maharaj put it, he just showed him, he just made him peep through the palace, just through the windows. Just a little peek here and there. He did not take King Parikshit into the palace itself. So he gave very few details about the Maharaj. Because the listener was a king who was not ready to listen to everything about the Maharaj. And that is also on a on a bigger scale, on a true scale, the real reason is that we, people of the world, are not ready to listen to any more about the Maharaj. Whatever has been said in the Bhagavad and whatever has been explained by Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj is quite enough for us. The lesson that we derive from the Bhagavatam, because remember the Bhagavad says, Tat Shrinaman Vipathan Vicharana Paro Bhaktya Vimuchen Naraha. Whether you read the Bhagavad or listen to the Bhagavad being narrated, then you must think about it. Think, what does the Bhagavad say? And then practice devotion. For that is the gist of the Bhagavad. Practice devotion to Sri Krishna. And the devotion that you practice towards him must be unselfish, it must be selfless, nishkam bhakti, and apratihata, uninterrupted devotion. Our aim in life is to know Krishna, love Krishna, and attain Krishna. And the Bhagavad helps us greatly in fulfilling that aim. The Bhagavad tells us about Bhagavan Sri Krishna. It is not about Brahma or Paramatma, the other two aspects of God, but it is about Bhagavan, the sweetest form aspect of God. Through Bhagavan we receive, we experience, we have the closest and the most intimate experience of God. And so the Bhagavad is the greatest of all Purans and greatest of all scriptures. We must extract the lesson of uninterrupted and selfless devotion from the Bhagavad, and we must practice devotion by surrendering to the lotus feet of our Gurudev, Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj, the greatest Maharasik Sant, Jagadguru of all the Jagadgurus who have come, who have graced this earth in Kali Yuga, and there have only been 4 before him. Adi Jagadguru Shankaracharya, Jagadguru Nimbarkacharya, Jagadguru Ramanujacharya, and Jagadguru Madhavacharya, who was 700 years back. When Sri Maharaji was given the title of Jagadguru Tam, you'll notice Jagadguru Tam, not just 5th Jagadguru, not just 5th original Jagadguru, but Jagadguru Tam. The 500 scholars, all members of Kashi Vidvat Parishad, who had spent an entire lifetime studying one single scripture or one part of one particular scripture, they all recognized and they were all in agreement with this. There was no one who said, no, I beg to differ. They all said, they were all agreeing, they all agreed to this, that this young man, 34 years of age, who has never studied the scriptures, who does not have a guru, he is a divine being who has come to earth. He is Jagadguru, 5th Jagadguru, and of all the Jagadgurus who have come so far, he is the best. For he excels in knowledge as well as devotion, in both of them. The Jagadgurus who have come to earth, they have all been avatar, God who had descended to earth. We all know, don't we, that Adi Jagadguru Shankaracharya was none other than Bhagwan Shankar himself. Ramanujacharya was the avatar of Sheshnag, Lakshmanji. All these Jagadgurus have been God himself who has descended to earth. So it is our privilege, it is our greatest fortune to take guidance from Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj and fulfill the mission of our life, which is to attain Lord Krishna by practicing selfless and uninterrupted devotion. बोलिए श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय, लाडली लाल की जय, बोलिए भागवत महापुराण की जय, जगद्गुरु श्री कृपालु जी महाराज की जय, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री